the C5 shifter mod. One thing I noticed when I drove a C6 with a manual is I did like the shorter length shifter on the C6 quite a bit better. You can get a whole aftermarket, or actually a new, I think, C6 shifter for your C5 for like 270 bucks. But I'm going to try this route first. I'm going to modify this by shortening it about an inch. I think that would be a pretty good noticeable difference. And keep in mind, the shorter you make the shifting rod, the harder the shifts are going to become. It's simple physics. So everything you do with the shifter, there's a trade-off. One handy note though, for when you go to take the shifter out of the car, to get the knob off, you quickly run into this little wedge deal here. And all you do is put a screwdriver on each side. And then with both hands, you just pry each one up at the same time, and it'll pry this up. So you take the wedge out, then this thing unscrews. And you can see where the wedge slides into here to make it feel nice and tight. So all we're going to really do, we are going to take 3/4 of an inch out of this by cutting it off. And I'll grind the wedge a little further down. And that's all we're going to do. But this really isn't that long anyway, so taking out 3/4 of an inch is a material difference. So I'm just going to get a hacksaw and cut 3/4 of an inch off. Okay, I have 3/4 of an inch cut off, just a regular hacksaw. I'm going to carefully take a file and smooth out all the edges so that it's clear that the threading is ready to go to receive the shifting knob. One thing that helps out quite a bit when straightening out the threads where you cut is a thread file. You can get them from Snap-on or Matco. It's got a whole bunch of different faces here to match any kind of thread that you might have. And essentially, you just go ahead and work it along the edge and it straightens out the threads for you. So now, it's good to go. Now keep in mind, this is the part that I cut off 3/4 of an inch. It's got the groove cut in it for the wedge to drive into. I need to go ahead and make this groove deeper, right down to a little bit past where it's no longer threaded. To do that, I'm just going to take a cut-off wheel and very carefully grind out a slot. So we cut the groove. It's long enough for that keyway / expander to be pounded in. I just matched it to the old piece. And to measure the width, I just use the calipers and use this end to make sure that this width equals this width. So there you have it. You can see it shortens it up quite a bit. Even though it's only 3/4 of an inch, it makes a noticeable difference and makes it look a little more modern with the shorter shifter. If nothing else, hopefully I'll like the way that feels. So I'll show you it again once I get it in the car. But so far I'm kind of excited about how this is going to feel. And the fact that it cost me about $0 to do this. And here's what it looks like installed. We only took, again, 3/4 of an inch off, but I think it drops it down nicely. We'll drive it for a while and see what the impressions are of the new modified C5 shifter. Hey, that does it for this video. If you liked the video, please remember to hit thumbs up and to subscribe.